Wait a minute, this guy doesn't look like Van Damme. Here's your look at the Jada toys, Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, Guile. Step into the world of Street Fighter 2 with the Ultra Street Fighter 2 Guile 1/12 scale action figure by Jada Toys. This meticulously crafted collectible action figure brings one of the most iconic characters from the Street Fighter series to life. As a major in the United States Air Force, Guile is on a mission to bring down the criminal organization Chandelou and uncover the fate of his best friend Charlie Nash. I think it's kind of ironic that Guile is part of the Air Force because you can seriously land some planes on the top of his hair. Still though, jokes aside, let's take the tape measure and see how tall. We'll do our thing. We'll figure out how tall he is, and then we'll bring, of course, in some other Street Fighter figures we've already had a look at from the folks over at Jada Toys. This was one also, like Ken, I was really super excited to grab, just because between Ken and Guile, those were my two go-to guys when it comes to playing Street Fighter. Guile is going to stand a little taller than 6 inches, not by much though. His hair is going to give him about a 6 1/4 inch height, or roughly that's going to work out to be 16 centimeters tall. Somehow I went from the channel that didn't review any Street Fighter figures to now having a look apparently all of them. All this week, in fact, also as a shameless plug, we're going to be looking at some more Street Fighter figures, so if that's the kind of thing that brings you to the yard, just know there's more figures coming your way. In the meantime though, while I've been yammering on, I've also had the chance to bring in Ryu. You can see though that both Ryu, and because of course he's using the same body Ken is, they're going to be shorter in size than Guile, which I think is right. Also, things don't change at all when we bring the slightly shorter Chun-Li. So far, she's the shortest figure we've looked at. Speaking of short, nothing comes up short when it comes to the accessories for Guile. I mean, look at just the lay of the land of everything he has. Not to mention, though, the figure does also come included with a background. This is with the figure when you get him out of the packaging. I don't know, for some reason, though, I completely forgot to bring in Ken's. This was Ken's, by the way, a sort of a yacht in the background. These two guys look like they're having fun. Oh, I can certainly see why. This side, though, on the other side, you can see it's all the people part of the Air Force. I'm not really sure what's happening over here, why she's grabbing onto that man's leg. Either way, though, this is certainly something when it comes to displaying him. If I just move everything out of the way, you could just take yourself your figure. Granted, though, more real estate space may be occupied, so you may have to rent your next door neighbors just to, again, accommodate everything. But I do like, though, that they include these backgrounds like this. Even if you don't have any plans to use them, I haven't used them yet. I just kind of like the fact that they throw in something like that. It's a good use of packaging, because half the time you're just going to be throwing away the cardboard or recycling the cardboard. Anyways, needless to say, though, let's run through all the things that come included with Guile. First things first, the figure does, if I don't drop it, come included with a circular clear acrylic display stand. And with that, though, the figure does also have an adjustable neck. Well, he has an adjustable neck, but the adjustable neck that goes with his accessory piece, it adjusts in 2 places, and you basically just take that and attach it onto the display stand. Hey, that's super easy. You get yourself also the Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom! Sonic Boom! He throws this thing out, kind of like a yin and a yang, although the two aren't really connected. This, by the way, can be connected as a shameless segue. There's a hole right here. You're basically just going to take that and attach it onto the display stand. Now, normally I would have said, because this, by the way, is using the same stand as Ryu, Ken, and also Chun-Li all have the same. I kind of really feel, though, with the Sonic Boom, it needed to be a little higher, just because when you're putting it close to Guile, I honestly feel like it's too short. I'm just going to kind of somewhat simulate what he does. He kind of puts his arms out like this. You would really have to kind of bend the knees for Guile, just to kind of make it look like he's firing it off. But even then, I don't know. It just seems like it's a little too short. I would have added a little length of neck. I know we're kind of already asking a lot anyways, because I mean, look at all of the stuff he already has, and then this guy behind the camera is like, oh, we need to add another length of neck. I just think it could have been a little bit longer. That's just my personal feelings. The figure does also come included. Well, let's just fix his boots, by the way. There we go. Okay. On the ends of his forearms, currently, the figure does come included with a pair of closed fists. Now, out of the packaging, he has that, like that. Or what you can do as well is the figure can be swapped out with a couple of swappable hands. Why am I... There we go. All right. Back to the business. The figure does have a couple of swappable hands. He has this hand for this side. He has this hand for this side. And you can swap them out. This also is a thumbs up, but it also serves to be a gripping hand for the next following accessory that we're not going to fall to just yet. This hand is also like a gestured hand. It kind of looks like, you can have him posed like this. You can almost make it look like he's fixing his hair. Guile would frequently pull out a comb and fix his hair. And by the way, the figure does also come included with a comb. Swapping out the hands, by the way, you're just going to grab and hold on to the forearm. Don't let go, whatever you do. Grab that, remove that, take this, plug that, and just plug that in place. We'll do the exact same thing on this side as well. And we'll give him the thumbs up hand, which also, again, does serve a purpose. What also you can do, too, is that you can put the two together so it looks like he's making a fist. Now, if he's serving up knuckle sandwiches, I'm sure not anybody's going to be wanting to stand in line for those. One way, though, to kind of make use of both hands, if you don't have plans to make use of the hands for other things. Like, again, you can kind of have it looking like he's fixing his hair. One of the other things that he has is he does also come included with this comb. This is very small. It's so small, I was really kind of worried I was going to be losing it. But just basically put that into his hand, and it kind of looks like Guile's fixing his hair. And then you, of course, get him in a pose. He doesn't really have like a smiling face necessarily. He has sort of this stoic face, and then he also has more an angrier expression, which is just right over here. So I like that. I like that they included hands that kind of really can do more than just one thing. Nothing is really written in stone that the hands have to be specifically for posing his hair or holding a comb. You can put the two together. The man can make knuckle sandwiches instead. While he's also holding his comb, let's talk a little bit about one other accessory the figure does have, and that is his dog tags. Now, initially, I would have thought these dog tags, they're, using real chains and all, but surely, though, can't these things be lost? First of all, don't call me Shirley. One thing that kind of works to his aid is that he has this really large hair. That was one of Guile's notable things. Jean-Claude Van Damme, unfortunately, couldn't pull off Guile's hair in the Street Fighter film. I think Jean-Claude Van Damme was a little bit too busy anyways. The thing that I think is at least a good thing is that you can pop off Guile's head. And the moment you put the dog tags on, which, by the way, I did want to show you, is a real metal dog tag. The tags themselves, I would imagine, just be plastic. But these themselves is a real chain. Once you put it over top of his neck like this, and securely attach his head, which isn't going to roll away on me. In a way, though, it's kind of a blessing that he has the hair that he has. Because if you try to tilt the head upside down, there's no way it seems that he can lose his dog tags. Whew, that's probably a good thing. Because, again, I really think that they could have just sculpted these to his chest. But now realizing that there's no way you're never going to get past this wall. Look at this. Look at the size of this man's hair. Yeah, even upside down. Gravity working in against him, really. There's no way that the necklace is going to come off. So that's a really good thing. I would have to be a little careful when it comes to swapping out his head sculpt, because then I'm going to have to, obviously make sure I'm not going to lose that. This, by the way, though, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, is his defaulted head. Sort of stoic pose for Guile. When, again, things known for Guile is the fact he just has this large hair. I don't know. To go back and look at the old high school photos of me, I could probably understand why. A lot of people used to call me Guile in high school. I could never really at that time figure out why, till looking at later photos when I was a little bit older, came to my senses. My hair used to be just not crazy like this, but it used to certainly stick up a lot. Now everybody's imagining what young me would have looked like. Not to this extreme, everybody, but my hair was pretty crazy, though, back in the day. What can I say? You're in high school, you do crazy things. Apparently crazy things for me involved crazy hair. I like the head sculpt, though. I do think, though, I think it's maybe a little bit better. I seem to be following, again, the trend of liking the defaulted head more than the one that's swappable. If you did want to change out the head, though, I would certainly recommend first holding onto the dog tag, popping off the head, which is easy to do. Take the new head that you want to use and just pop it. Make sure that doesn't get away on you. And pop it on top of the ball joint. Now, if you're planning to display this figure with, the sonic boom, I would think, though, that this is probably the better head to go with, just because he's a little bit more determined. Hair hasn't changed at all. It's still crazy. This figure does have, of course, the colors of the green. There is a blue version of Guile, which so far is probably the only Street Fighter figure that I'm considering getting the second version for, because basically it just takes his trunks, and it swaps this out for blue, and it gives him, the blue camouflage down below. If you like the classic green, obviously the defaulted one would be the better one to go with, but I might actually get the variant costume color, just so I can have the blue version of Guile as well. I'm going to get this comb out of the way, because I know this thing's I'm going to lose it. I'm going to look all over the floor. I'm never going to be able to find it. If only there was a way he could just have really large hands. That's not really going to fix the matter of losing a comb, though. Certainly things to point out, though, on Guile is the fact he does have the Stars and Stripes, the American flag, on one side. He also has it on the other. Now, the placement of this, I know now realizing why they changed it the way they do it, so that when you are looking at this, you're always looking at the American flag facing the right way. A couple of viewers pointed that out to me. I don't know what review it was that I was looking at, but I had made mention that the American flag was facing a different direction. And that's, somebody had kindly mentioned to me that the American flag has to always face. So whenever you're looking at it, it's always facing the right way. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Color looks good, though, for Guile. I mean, there's a lot of good plastic. I know this is one thing I always said so far with the Street Fighter figures. I'm going to kind of continue this, is that the plastic that Jada Toys is using for these figures is a really good quality. Like, everything feels good and secure and feels tight. It never feels like while I'm moving the figure's joints around that something is going to break. Oh, wouldn't that just be... That would be the worst, just to jinx that. Yeah, everything feels really good, though, on Guile. Get your mind out of the gutter. I do think that the camel looks really good on the figure as well. He seems a little on the short side. But to be fair, though, if we like bringing even like Ryu sort of has more of a squat look to his body as well. That carries over with Ken. It carries also over for Chun-Li. Those are the only 3 other figures we've looked at so far. For Guile's articulation, though, his head's going to be on a ball joint. So already, right away, you can do this all the way around. You have the head looking up and down, back and forth also as well. Further from that, actually just above the dog tags, the figure does also have a ball joint in the base of his neck. So there's a lot more you can do with the neck. The arms rotate all the way around, One thing that's also noted here on, which really we haven't had much of a chance to kind of see, because most of the time the characters we've looked at have covered over this joint. This joint kind of gives you a little bit more arch, where you can move the arms back, for example. Or you can move them forward, obviously. But yeah, the arms rotate all the way around. When we looked at both Guile, and just over here grabbing Ken, sorry to surprise everybody, those joints I would imagine would still have been there, but just being that they're covered over by the gi, it would be harder to see. On Guile, though, there's no hiding anything, because he has the tank top. Fully visibly shows the joints that are on the figure. Yeah, the figure does also have a bicep swivel. Yes, he does. Double hinge on the elbow. This guy right over here. Swivels in the hands all the way around. You can hinge them back and forth. The upper torso is going to be on a ball joint. Lower abdomen area is pretty much the same. Legs go forward and back. They are a little on the stiffer side, but I'd rather that than really loose legs. You can split the legs. So in fact, even though Van Damme's not playing him, you can still pull off successfully a Van Damme splits. Concealed actually quite nicely by the camouflage. About 3/4 up the way the thigh, you can also swivel cut that. So there's a swivel, you can move it back and forth for the leg. The figure does have, which unfortunately does break up a little bit of the camo. So I would think, though, that they probably would have gone and printed the camo on top of green plastic. The dead giveaway, though, is that you can see like the green every time you bend the knee, which is a shame, but there's no real way around that. There's swivel there at the boots, so you can move those back and forth. There's an ankle rocker, which is nice and tight ratcheted joints. And the figure does also have an ankle pivot. Really nice looking Guile. Really nice looking Guile. Still, again, like when it comes to this figure, this might be the only one I'm going to consider getting the second variant costume for, which again swaps the greens for the blue. I just think I like the green, but I think I also like the blue really as well. That has not yet happened when it comes to both Ryu or Guile for that matter. I don't know if actually Ken. I don't know though if I actually have seen. Oh, maybe I did. I think I did see a white gi Ken in the stores. Never decided to really pick it up because I really wanted to get the red gi Ken. And of course there is also Chun-Li. Jada Toys has planned to do a whole bunch of different variation costumes. I've seen also Bison. Bison is also a figure that we're going to be looking at in an upcoming review as well. I've seen the variation costume for him as well. It kind of does more kind of the teal aquamarine blue. I might just stick with the red for that. But yeah, I do really like Guile. Guile has a lot more accessories, really, I think, than all the other Street Fighter figures we've looked at so far. Because generally, though, his rule of thumb, is that you would have a couple of swappable hands, you'd have a couple of swappable heads, 2 and 2. You get yourself the display stand. You get yourself whatever effect piece that he comes also included with. But then on top of that, he does also come included with comb. So maybe he's 1 up from every other. Oh, and of course he has the dog tags as well. So he's sort of 2 up from every figure that we've looked at. Nice looking figure overall. Crazy as certainly it is when it comes to his hairstyle, Guile is, if you are collecting the Street Fighter figures, a must-have. I think any comb that can make its way through that hairsprayed hairstyle deserves a Medal of Honor. It's one of the included accessories that Guile does have out of his plastic prison, along with a pair of dog tags. The dog tags, I was kind of concerned with, thinking first, okay, if I'm going to be putting this on his neck, the last thing I'd really want to do is worry about moving the head around or having the dog tags fall off, but as you saw, even with gravity working against it, those tags, my friend, aren't going anywhere. The coloring, though, of Guile, of course, is the more classic green look. If you like, though, the blue, just know that Jada Toys has done variations on all the costumes. I've only seen a few, though, in the wild. I think the only one I actually have seen was the variation of Ken. Ken, I was really so close to picking up because up to that point I hadn't picked up a Ken. But honestly, though, I was really more wanting to get the red gi instead of the white. With the case, though, of Guile, I'd be happy to actually get both the green and the blue. I've actually seen the blue in the stores. I'm surprised, actually, I never even picked that one up. The thing that's going, at least in the favor of Jada Toys' release of Street Fighter figures, is the price. Again, the price for what they sell these things for. Here in Canada, I think we're paying about $25 or so for these Street Fighter figures. For the kind of plastic that they're putting into them, the amount of accessories that they have also at their disposal, I think still $25 is a steal. What do you guys think of Guile? Let me know down below in the comments section. Do you think also that Jean-Claude Van Damme was a proper choice to play Guile in the feature film? Now, I know we also are going to be getting a new Street Fighter movie. Apparently, Cody Rhodes is going to be playing Guile. I don't see it. Unless you're going to be giving him this whacked out hairstyle. Just because a guy is a wrestler doesn't mean instantly he's a celebrity. I think that's the mistake that Hollywood often makes, is, well, we need a muscular character for a movie. Well, let's look at the wrestlers. There's a reason why, and I don't say this for all the wrestlers, there's some wrestlers like Dave Bautista that have shown there's work outside the ring. A lot of times, if you're getting a wrestler, I hate to say this, if any wrestlers are watching these reviews, if you're a wrestler, sometimes you should maybe just stick in the ring. But what do you guys think of the idea of maybe Cody Rhodes playing the role? If you don't see maybe Cody possibly perfecting the look of Guile, who would you have picked as a celebrity to play the role instead? If you guys did enjoy this video, you can do it as certainly a solid by hitting it with a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? Yeah, I hope so. This isn't, by the way, the end of Street Fighter. Oh, no. No, in fact, actually, we're going to be looking at a bunch more, all in fact throughout this week. So if you guys certainly want to come back for those, the videos will certainly be there, as well as everything else I'm doing regularly. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.